Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the world of AI assistants as they stand in 2025. It's evolving so quickly.
It really is.
We've got some great sources lined up. First, there's a piece from Futurism, kind of looking ahead, called Discover AI Sidekicks in 2025.
Mhm.
Then something from Analytics Video. This one's interesting. Generative AI and human connections transforming relationships.
That one definitely caught my eye. Updated pretty recently, too.
Yeah, April 24th. And finally, a more personal take from Michael Williams on Medium about, well, the complexities of AI and human relationships.
Right. His experience co-hosting with an AI gives a different angle.
Exactly. So our goal today really is to cut through some of maybe the hype and see how these AI helpers are actually fitting into our lives day to day, productivity, well-being, even our emotions.
Yeah, separating the buzz from the reality. Because it's easy to imagine these sci-fi scenarios, but what's actually happening now? That Futurism article, being about 5 months old, kind of sets the baseline for the current advancements.
Okay, good starting point. So, Futurism's Discover AI Sidekicks in 2025. It really seems to emphasize how much better they're getting at, well, understanding us, natural language processing improvements. What does that actually feel like for someone using it?
It means less frustration, basically. They grasp context, your intent, not just literal words. So you don't have to phrase things just right. They
Oh,
get the nuance. Think about that example they gave the AI telling you, hey, you need to leave for your meeting now because traffic's bad.
right, right.
That's not just a dumb timer. It's connecting dots, your calendar, real-time traffic data, your location.
Right.
It's anticipating a need. That jump from just following commands to being sort of proactive, that's the big deal.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like it's thinking a step ahead for you. And the article brings up smart homes too, lights, heating, music adapting as you move through your house.
Yeah, creating that seamless environment.
It sounds cool, definitely convenient, but is there something more to it than just, not having to flip a switch?
Well, yeah, I think the implication is about cognitive load.
Yeah.
All those little adjustments, managing the environment, it takes up mental bandwidth, right?
Hmm.
If the AI handles that smoothly in the background, it frees you up to focus on, well, whatever else you want to focus on. It's about streamlining your routine, making things more efficient, more comfortable, almost invisibly.
Okay, so optimizing our mental energy in a way.
Exactly. And this extends beyond the home, too.
Yeah.
Futurism also mentioned healthcare.
Right, monitoring health data from, like, your watch.
Yeah, wearables.
Hmm.
Or guiding meditations, helping manage appointments.
It's like a little wellness coach in your pocket, keeping tabs. How big a deal is this AI push into personal health?
Potentially huge. I mean, imagine an AI spotting tiny changes in your sleep or heart rate long before you notice anything's off.
Wow, yeah.
And then suggesting, maybe adjust your bedtime or see a doctor. It could really shift healthcare towards prevention. Early warnings.
That would be transformative.
And then you've got the other stuff they mentioned. Shopping, getting more personal virtual try-ons.
Hmm.
Maybe finally solving the does this fit problem online.
Huh, wouldn't that be nice?
And entertainment too, curating playlists or movies, even making games more interactive based on, how you're playing.
So it's all about tailoring things specifically to us. How does it actually learn us so well? Is it just watching everything we do?
It's mostly machine learning. It analyzes your interactions, basically. What did you click on? What did you buy? What music did you skip? What did you explicitly tell it you like or dislike?
Okay.
It finds patterns in all that data and uses them to predict what else you might like.
Yeah.
Similar to, Netflix recommendations or Amazon suggestions, but getting more sophisticated and integrated across different parts of your life.
Gotcha. So constantly learning, refining its picture of you. Okay, let's switch gears to that Analytics Vidha article. Generative AI and human connections transforming relationships. This one points to a really fascinating shift, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not just about efficiency anymore. It's talking personal growth, emotional support, even finding purpose. First off, generative AI. What makes that different?
Right. Good question. So generative AI is the kind that can create new things, text, images, code, music, even conversations that feel original.
Ah, okay. Not just analyzing, but making.
Exactly. And that ability to generate human-like text is what opens the door to these more relational uses. It can have a back and forth that feels more dynamic, more like talking to someone.
And the article says this is leading to a big change in how people are using AI. Therapy and companionship are apparently top use cases now. That seems like a huge leap.
It is a huge leap. Things like organizing your life and finding purpose also popped up high on the list in their 2025 report.
Huh.
That's a big change from maybe a year or two ago, where it was all about productivity hacks.
What's driving that, do you think? Are people just more comfortable with AI now, or is there a deeper need it's tapping into?
Probably a bit of both. I mean, the tech's better, more conversational. But it also suggests maybe people are seeking connection or support in new ways. The report they cite, the Top 100 Gen AI Use Case Report, had some powerful quotes.
Like what?
Well, one user, dealing with a brain injury, described AI as an emotional anchor, helping them cope day to day. Another person was already imagining future apps specifically for AI companions.
Wow.
It points to this desire for, perhaps, consistent, non-judgmental interaction, someone or something that's always available.
That raises some big questions about emotional reliance, though. The article mentions emotional AI that can recognize emotions, use empathetic language,
Yeah.
and apparently over half of hospitals are using generative AI somehow, maybe for patient engagement or even mental health support. That feels pretty significant.
It's very significant, and it highlights the dual nature of this, right? On the one hand, incredible potential. AI could make basic mental health support far more accessible. Imagine an AI that can genuinely detect distress and offer calming words 24/7.
Yeah, that could help a lot of people.
But the but is important. What does it mean for genuine human connection if we increasingly turn to AI for emotional needs? Does it supplement our relationships, or could it potentially replace aspects of them? That's the complex part.
Definitely something to think about. And Analytics Vita points out this isn't just happening in healthcare or personal life. Marketing, media, retail, education, they're all using generative AI too.
Precisely. Because that ability to generate tailored content, personalized interactions, it's valuable everywhere. Think education. Lessons that adapt to your specific learning speed and style.
Right.
Or marketing. Ads that feel much more relevant and maybe less intrusive because they're better targeted. The tech's versatility is driving this really broad adoption.
Okay, so it's becoming embedded pretty much everywhere. Now let's bring in that final piece, the Medium article by Michael Williams. His experience actually co-hosting a podcast with an AI, Pi, that gives us a very personal, boots-on-the-ground view.
Yeah, it's a fantastic counterpoint to the broader trend analysis. It's not just data. It's what does it actually feel like to build a working relationship with an AI?
What were his main takeaways? Did he find it enriching or weird?
A bit of both, it sounds like.
Yeah.
He definitely touches on the potential for it to be enriching, to spark ideas, offer different perspectives, but he also seems very aware of the pitfalls, the strangeness of forming a connection with something that isn't human.
Right.
His reflection really dives into that blurring line between a tool and maybe something more like a companion. It brings those abstract questions about AI relationships down to a very practical, experiential level.
So pulling all this together, what's the big picture for AI assistants in 2025? It feels like they've moved way beyond just being simple task doers.
Absolutely. They're becoming much more context-aware, predictive, deeply woven into our routines, homes, health management, even our shopping and entertainment. They're learning us.
And that massive shift highlighted by Analytics Vidha towards emotional support, personal growth, therapy, that feels like the really profound change. Echoed by Williams' personal story, too.
Exactly. It signals a fundamental evolution in our relationship with AI. It's not just a utility anymore. For some people, it's becoming a source of comfort, insight, even companionship.
Though it's worth remembering, as that Akuta piece on hype versus reality pointed out, full integration, especially in workplaces, isn't happening overnight. There are still hurdles, adoption gaps, privacy concerns.
Sure, implementation takes time. But the direction of travel seems pretty clear. AI is becoming increasingly personal.
Yeah. The key takeaway seems to be this blend of the practical making life easier and the personal addressing these deeper human needs for support, connection, maybe even meaning.
That's a great way to put it. It's tackling both efficiency and emotion.
Okay, so this brings us to our final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Considering this growing reliance on AI, not just for tasks, but for emotional support, for introspection, like we've heard, how might that change us? As these AI companions get even smarter, even more integrated, how could that shift our own sense of self or how we relate to other people? Is this blurring line between a helpful tool and maybe a kind of friend? Is that ultimately good for us? Good for human connection, self-discovery? Or are there complexities, maybe even downsides, we really need to keep a close eye on?
A big question, definitely food for thought.
Absolutely. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.